Now we're in James chapter 1, verse 19. Reading from the King James Version, quote, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath," unquote. Parsing this from the Greek to the English, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be," or esto. And what that means is that in a present tense and it's imperative, which means that he's talking about now and it's a command. So be, every man be swift to hear. And hear is a sense of being, past, present, future. It's active, it's infinitive. You're to continually hear. The Greek for that is a cool. And then moving down, slow to speak. And in the Greek, that is laleo. It is an aorist active infinitive. So in other words, it's a sense of speaking, not talking about in the past or the present or the future. It's a sense of. It's an active one. It's to speak. So slow to speak, slow to wrath. Now let's take a look and see what John Gill has to say in his commentary. Quote, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren," unquote, "since the gospel, the word of truth, is the means and instrument which God makes use of in regeneration and in forming people for himself," quote, "let every man be swift to hear," unquote. Not anything, not idle and unprofitable talk or filthy, corrupt communication, but wholesome advice, good instructions, and gracious experiences of the saints, and, above all, the Word of God, to the hearing of which men should fly as doves to the windows, should make haste and be early in their attendance to it, as well as constant, and receive it with readiness and with a sort of greediness of mind, and the souls may be profited, and God may be glorified. The phrase, the Jewish things easy and smooth, swift to hear, them slow to speak. Against what is heard, without thoroughly weighing and considering what is said, and this may regard silence under hearing the word, and is also a rule to be observed in private conversation, or the sense may be content to be hearers of the word, and not forward to be preachers of it, as if called to that work. Think before you speak, meditate on the word, study to be approved to God and men. Silence is not only commended amongst those who enjoy the discipline, but also the Jews. They say nothing is better for the body than silence. That if a word is worth 1 shilling, silence is worth 2, or worth a precious stone, that is the spice of speech, and the chief of all spices, that is the hedge of wisdom. Hence, it is the advice, say little and do much. And they cry up as a very excellent precept, quote, "Be silent and hear," unquote, and as containing more than persons are aware of. Quote, "Slow to wrath," unquote. In hearing, when admonitions and reproofs are given, sin is exposed and vice corrupted, and the distinguishing doctrines of grace are preached, which are apt to fill natural man with wrath, and which must greatly hinder the usefulness of the word. See Luke chapter 4, verse 28. Quote, "And all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath," unquote. This is omitted in the Ethiopic version. End of James chapter 1, verse 19, Discovering the Scriptures.